Hello all, welcome to Smart Classes. In today's class, we will learn about the important places of Telangana. We will separate them into different regions and we will just see the facts. I want you to revise these facts daily or else if you belong to Telangana state, basically you will definitely love the places because you belong here. This is your history. So I think most of the places you have been visited, other than the places which are in other districts you have never visited. So read about them and, if possible, visit them. I know it is coronavirus time, COVID-19 time, and you cannot visit any other places, and you'll have to stay safe at home. So let's get into the facts. Firstly, we'll take Hyderabad, the most beautiful city I have ever seen. Because I belong to Telangana, I definitely love Hyderabad. So, Hyderabad is also known as Pearl City. And here are the important places of Hyderabad. And the first one is the beautiful Charminar. Charminar is basically built in 591 AD by Sultan Muhammad Quli Qutub Shahi. And this king belongs to Qutub Shahi dynasty. And next comes the Golconda Fort. Golconda Fort is said to be built in 13th century by Kakatiya dynasty, but it is used by almost all the dynasties like Qutub Shahi dynasty, Nizams, Asaf Shahi dynasty, etc. So Golconda Fort is said to be built in 13th century, and the fort is really beautiful. Even after many invasions and the fort being destroyed, still it has its own beauty. And then comes the Hussain Sagar, which is in the center of Hyderabad, and the most beautiful Gautam Buddha statue, which is in the center of Hussain Sagar, which you can never forget. It is basically built in 1562 by Ibrahim Kuli Qutub Shah. This king also belonged to Qutub Shahi dynasty. Hussain Sagar is basically built for the water resources or for drinking water of the people of Hyderabad. And then comes the Salarjung Museum. Salarjung Museum basically consists the relics of the time. It is basically built in 1969. It is the collection of one of the Nizam kings, which is taken into Salarjung Museum. Things of the collection of certain Nizam are taken and put them and they are exhibited in the Salarjung Museum. It is built by Government of India, and as you can say, it's the dynasty of India, democratic India. And then comes the Birla Mandir. Basically, Birla Mandir is built in 1976 by Swami Ranganathananda, who belongs to Ramakrishna Mission. As you all know, Ramakrishna Mission is started by Swami Vivekananda. So, a person belonging to the Ramakrishna Mission has built the Birla Mandir, which is really peaceful and the right place for meditation. And then comes the Chau Mahalla Palace. This Chau Mahalla Palace consists of four different houses, and it is built in 1857, in between 1857 to 1869 by Nizams. Nizam Salabat Jung was the king responsible for the Chowmahalla Palace. Basically, Chowmahalla Palace is the place where Nizams resided. That is, residence of Nizams. Residence of Nizams. What is the residence of Nizams? Chowmahalla Palace. Palace. And then comes the Makkah Masjid. It has been built in 1694. Basically, the construction of Makkah Masjid has been started by Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah and completed by Aurangzeb. So it is basically built by Quli Qutub Shahi dynasty, to which Muhammad Quli Qutub Shahi belonged. As you already know, Charminar is also built by Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah in 1591, and then he has started to build Makkah Masjid, but he never finished. Before finishing it, he has been expired, so it was completed by Aurangzeb. And then comes the Falaknama Palace. Falaknama Palace has been started in 3rd March 1884 and been completed by 1893. It has been it is been built by Nawab Vikal ul Umra, Prime Minister. So, Prime Minister of the King Mir Mehboob Ali Khan has built Falaknama Palace for Nizams. So Nizams have used Falaknama Palace as their resident. So we have studied about two residences of Nizam. One is Chowmahala Palace and one is Falaknama Palace. And then comes the Nehru Zoological Park. It has been built by the Government of India when the GO passed. Government GO means government order has been passed on 26th October 1959 by the public order. Yeah, and this zoological park has been opened to public on 6th October 1963, and the GO number which has been passed is 247, and this park is being maintained by the Forest Department of the government. And then comes the Kuli Qutub Shahi tombs, and these tombs were built in different years. There are completely seven tombs of seven different royal people, and it has been built by Qutub Shahi dynasty by different kings. And then comes the Lumbini Park. Lumbini Park has been built by the government of India and is being maintained by Buddha Purnima Project Authority. So this authority maintains Lumbini Park and it is being built by government of India near Hussain Sagar. And then comes the Paiga tombs. Paiga tombs have been built 200 years ago by Paiga clan. These Paiga tombs are basically near Hyderabad. And then Mir Alam tank. Mir Alam tank is used for the drinking water. This has been built before the building of the Hussain Sagar or the Usman Sagar. They have built Mir Alam tank for the drinking water purposes. It is built by Sikandar Jah. Yeah, yeah. It has been built by Sikandar Jah for drinking water Nizam 3 by Nizam 3. And then Ujjaini Mahakali Mandir. I'm sorry, it has been built for drinking water purposes, but not before Hussain Sagar. Hussain Sagar has been built in 1562. Mir Alam Tank has been built in 1804 to 1808. Then Ujjaini Mahakali Mandir, which has been built in 1815 by Suruti Appaya. Basically, Suruti Appaya has uh, Suruti Appaya has basically worshipped Mahakali for cholera. There has been cholera hit, so there were many people dying with cholera. So Suruti Appaya has worshipped Mahakali that if people will stop dying from cholera or cholera gets eliminated from the state, then he'll build Ujjaini Mahakali Mandir. So he came to Secunderabad. In Secunderabad, he has built Ujjaini Mahakali Mandir. And these are the most important places of Hyderabad. Other than these, there are many man-made exhibitions or man-made recreation spots in Hyderabad where you can enjoy. But these are the most important historically important places of Hyderabad. So if you want to note down this table, I'll just erase it. So you can note down. Sure, sorry. You can note. And then once we finish Adilabad, I'm sorry that got erased. I'll definitely paste the link of the table in the comments or in the description of the video later. So next comes the Adilabad. Firstly, we'll look into Adilabad Nirmal Fort. It has been built 400 years ago by Nimma Naidu. So the name of the place has become Nimmala because of the king Nimmanaidu who built the Nirmal fort. Eventually, the name Nimmala has been converted to Nirmal, and it is the Nirmal fort which has been built 400 years ago. And then the most beautiful waterfalls, which are Kuntala waterfalls. And the height of these waterfalls is 45 meters. And then comes the Basara Saraswati temple. It is the only Saraswati temple in South India. There's one more in North India. It is the second. There are two Saraswati temples in India. One is in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir, JNK, and one is in Pasir. That is, one is in North India and one is in South India. And in South India, this is the only Saraswati temple. And it is on the banks of the river Godavari. As you all know, there are Pushkaralu of Godavari coming every 12 years. And the people visit Saraswati temple, and people also go to Saraswati temple for Aksharabhyasam. That is, students or the kids start their journey to learn, and it never ends. Till you die, you learn something all the time. And then comes Karimnagar. Karimnagar, the most important place is the Rajarajeshwari temple, which was built by Eastern Chalukyas in 1750 and 1930. It is basically the temple of Lord Shiva. And then Kaleshwaram. This is famous nowadays because of the Kaleshwaram project, which is being conducted, and which is the most prestigious project of the TRS government. Here we have the Kaleshwara Mukuteshwara Swami temple. The speciality of this temple is there are two lingas in this temple, and this place is also famous for the famous or holy place, is also known as the holy place because of the presence of three different rivers or merging of three different rivers, which is Godavari, Pranahita, and Saraswati. And then next comes the third place, which is Kondagattu. There's a famous Hanuman temple which has been constructed 300 years ago. And then comes the Elagandla fort, which is constructed by Kakatiyas. Kakatiyas initially had their district headquarters of Karimnagar in Elagandla, but eventually they have shifted it to Karimnagar. And then comes the Dulikatta. So Dulikatta is a Buddhist pillar which is built during Shatavahana period. And comes Kotilingala, which is the capital of Asmaka. Asmaka is one of the 16 Janapadas present in those times. Uh, I think you all know the names of 16 Janapadas, like, for example, Avanti, Kosala, Magadha, etc. Vaishali. There are 16 Janapadas. We'll not get into the details right now, but remember there is one Janapada of 16, which is known as Asmaka, and Kotilingala is the capital of Asmaka. At this place, there's a confluence of Peddavagu and Godavari River. Peddavagu is a tributary of Krishna. So at this place, Peddavagu and Peddavagu and Godavari confluence. And then the next district we are going to see is Kamam. In Kamam, we have the most famous Bhadrachalam, where you have Lord Sri Rama's temple, and Sri Rama Kalyanam takes place every year with all the every year, and is the most famous place for the fair and the Kalyanam. And this temple was built by Kancharla Gopanna 370 years ago, and this is on the banks of the river Godavari. Next comes Kinnarsani Dam. Kinnarsani Dam is built on the Kinnarsani River, and there is also a deer park near Kinnarsani Dam. And then comes Mehboob Nagar. Mehboob Nagar, it has the most famous Pillalamari, which is a big old banyan tree 800 years ago, which was planted 800 years ago, and it covers 3 acres of land. Basically, how will a banyan tree grow? You have a main banyan tree, and you have the branches coming down, and one more tree comes here, branches coming down. In that way, you have the branch and converting into the tree. And people say that no one knows where is the actual banyan tree, or the first banyan tree has been planted, or the original banyan tree from which all the branches have come. Those are all, I don't know the exact story about that, but It is 800 years old, and it covers 3 acres of land. And I have also seen that the tree already started disintegrating. That is, it started to die. That is, we never know after a few years if we will see the tree or not, but it already started disintegrating. In my childhood, I heard that when you go under the banyan tree, you don't have any grass or any sunlight falling on the land below the banyan tree. That is, 3 acres of land was barren. There was not a single amount of grass or not the sunlight falling down, because that banyan tree used to cover the whole area. But now you have the sunlight, you have the grass everywhere. That is, these are the signs of the disintegration of the age-old banyan tree. And then comes the Mallala Tirtham waterfalls, which is the small waterfalls which is existing in Nehru district. And then Alampur. Alampur is a place where Krishna meets Tungabhadra, and this is also one of the 18 Shakti Pitas. One of the 18 Shakti Pitas, and it is built by Chalukyas. Have built Navabrahma. Chalukyas have built Navabrahma temple, not the Shakti Pitas. And then Gadwal Fort. It is built in 1662 by Peddasoma Bhupala. Julala project is built on the river Krishna, and then Koil Sagar, one of the famous project which is also built on the river Krishna, and then Vanapati estate. It is one of the estates under Nizam. Vanapati estate was friends with Qutub Shahis and Subedars of Nizam. Medak. In Medak, we have the famous project of Singur project, which is built on the river Manjira in Sangareddy, Medak. Medak Church, which is completed in 1994, and the foundation for this Medak Church was laid by Charles Walker Fasnette in 1914, and finally it was completed in 1994. That is 80 years of the foundation was laid, and the capacity of this church is 5,000 people. That is, 5,000 people can pray in that church at a time. Then Nalgonda. In Nalgonda, we have the famous project which is known as Nagarjuna Sagar project. This project was planned by Nizam government in 1942, and Nehru laid the foundation for this in 1955. Initially, this dam was planned in Elishwaram, which gives water to Telangana areas, and then it was being shifted to Nandikonda, and now it gives water to two Telangana areas and most of the Andhra area, that is Guntur, Krishna, East Godavari, West Godavari, etc. So, this plant has been shifted to Nandikonda in order to give water to Andhra areas. That is obviously because it was separate. Hyderabad state was not with coastal Andhra. We have planned for ourselves. They have converted to Nandikonda to get water to their own states, own state or own regions. And then it's Nandikonda. As we have already seen, Nandikonda is a shore of Krishna River. Here we have the museum which has relics of Ikshvaku kings. And then comes Bhuvangiri Fort. This fort is built by Western Chalukyas. And the person who built the fort was Tribhuvanamalla Vikramaditya in 10th century AD. And then Yadagiri Gutta. Yadagiri Gutta is a Narasimha Swami temple. This is basically in use because this has been renovated by TRS government to make it. They say they'll make it second Tirupati. So we'll wait and see. And then Kolampaku, which is in Alur Mandal, and this is a giant temple which was built 2000 years ago. And the first Tirthankara Adinatha Bhagavan or Rishabha, he is also known as Rishabha. He is been worshipped in this temple. Non-Jains worship Manikya Deva. And then Nizamabad, we have Nizamabad Fort built by Rashtrakuta dynasties. Ali Sagar reservoirs by Nizams in 1931. There's also a deed park which has been built in, which has been made in 1985. And Sri Ram Sagar reservoir, which is also known as Pochampadu project. It is built in Goda. It is built on river Godavari towards Nirmal, and the foundation was laid in 25th July 1963. And then comes Nizam Sagar project, built by Mir Usman Ali Khan in 1923 to 1931. At that time, this was the biggest dam in the Asia. And then Rangareddy district, we have Chilkur Balaji temple constructed at the time of Akkarna Madana, which is 400 years ago. People go and initially they ask for something and do 11 pradakshinas, and then if that comes true, or if that really happens, they come back and do 108 pradakshinas, as you all know. I think many of you know this. So here's the Chilkur Balaji temple, which is almost 17 kilometers from Medipatnam. And then Isargutta, this is the temple of Lord Shiva. And here, the specialty of this temple is Shivalinga was erected by Lord Sri Rama in Treta Yuga. They say that we never know it's true or not. And then comes the Anantagiri Hills. Here we have the temple of Ananta Padmanabha Swami. And Anantagiri Hills is basically the birthplace of the river Musi. And then Usman Sagar, built by Mir Usman Ali Khan on river Musi in 1920. Then comes the Himayat Sagar, which has been built in 1927. And Himayat is basically the name of the younger son of 7th Nizam who built the Himayat Sagar. Mrugavani National Park, which is near Chilkuru. It has 600 species of plants and animals. Coming to Warangal, here we have the Ramappa temple. Ramappa temple is basically built by Rachala Rudra, who was the military commander of Kakatiya kings. It has been built in 1213 AD. Here we have Ramalingeshwara Swami idol, and it has been sculpted by Ramappa. That is why this temple is known as Ramappa temple. Then Thousand Pillar Temple, it is basically UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this becomes important because of that. And the beauty of the Thousand Pillar Temple, of course. And here it has been built by Rudradeva, a Kakatiya king, in 1163 AD. Varangal Fort. Varangal Fort is basically built by Ganapati Deva of Kakatiya dynasty. Ganapati Deva is basically the father of Rani Rudrama Devi. Rudrama Devi. Her father is Ganapati Deva. He has built the Varangal Fort. Near Varangal Fort, we have Swayambhu Temple, Ramalingeshwara Temple, Venkateshwara Temple, Ekashila Temple, and many temples which are built by Kakatiyas. Okay. Then comes the Bhadrakali Temple, built by Pulakesi II of Chalukyas in 1625 AD. This temple was built to show the victory over Vengi kings of Andhra region. When Chalukyas won over the Vengi kings of Andhra region, in order to show off, they have built the Bhadrakali temple. Pakala Lake is built by Ganapati Deva, in 1213 AD. Laknavaram Lake is built by Mulugu Taluka, is built in Mulugu Taluka, and it is the source of water irrigation and built by Kakatiyas. That's it for today. It is more of the facts than any other explanation. Basically, I expect you to I expect you to read the whole thing, write it somewhere, write the places, and write where is it built and all the details about the places, and keep revising. If you have visited the places, I think it will be easier for you because you have visited the places and you know what is what. If you have not visited the places, think you have visited, or go to because you are on YouTube already, just type the name of the place. You'll get some video where people have visited the place and they have made the video of the tour. Just watch those videos so that you don't forget the important places. And in the next class, we will get into the administration. We have seen in brief about the administration of Nizams in Hyderabad princely state, but we will get into details in the next class. Thank you for listening, and here signing off, Smart Classes. Thank you.